The Battle of the Bulge. World War II's pivotal winter siege. December 1944. The Allied armies, fresh from liberating Paris and pushing toward Germany's borders, believed the war in Europe would end by Christmas. But Adolf Hitler had other plans. Concealed by the dense fog and snow of the Ardennes Forest, 30 German divisions, over 200,000 soldiers, prepared for a last-ditch offensive. This was Operation Wacht am Rhein, Watch on the Rhine, a desperate gamble to split the Allies, seize the vital port of Antwerp, and force a negotiated peace. The stage was set for the largest and bloodiest battle fought by the U.S. Army in World War II, a brutal siege that would test the limits of human endurance. The stakes. Why did Hitler risk everything on this offensive? By late 1944, Germany was collapsing. Soviet forces advanced from the east, Allied bombers pounded cities, and fuel shortages crippled the Nazi war machine. But Hitler clung to delusions of repeating his 1940 Ardennes blitzkrieg, a surprise attack through impassable terrain. To maintain secrecy, the Germans deployed fake radio traffic, moved troops at night, and even used English-speaking commandos to sabotage Allied communications. Meanwhile, the Allies, overconfident after months of victories, left the Ardennes lightly defended, a quiet sector manned by green troops and weary divisions. Eisenhower later admitted, "We'd been caught flat-footed." The storm breaks. At 5:30 a.m. on December 16, 1944, the frozen silence shattered. Thousands of German artillery shells rained down on Allied positions. Waves of panzers and infantry surged through the fog, overwhelming unprepared U.S. units. Villages like Saint-Vith and Clairvaux fell swiftly. The front lines bulged inward, giving the battle its name. But amid the chaos, pockets of resistance held. At Bastogne, a critical road junction, the 101st Airborne Division and elements of the 10th Armored Division were encircled. When the Germans demanded surrender, General Anthony McAuliffe famously replied, "Nuts." Meanwhile, atrocities unfolded. At Malmedy, SS troops massacred 84 unarmed American POWs. The snow, soldiers wrote, was stained crimson. Turning the tide. By December 22nd, the Allies rallied. Eisenhower ordered General Patton's Third Army to pivot north. A daring 100-mile march in 48 hours through blizzards. Patton prayed for clear skies, and on Christmas Eve his prayers were answered. The clouds parted, unleashing Allied fighter bombers on German columns. At Bastogne, C-47 cargo planes braved anti-aircraft fire to airdrop supplies. By December 26th, Patton's tanks broke the siege. Meanwhile, German momentum faltered. Fuel shortages stranded panzers. Soldiers looted Allied rations for food. Hitler's final gamble had failed. On January 1st, 1945, a last-ditch Luftwaffe attack, Operation Bodenplatte, destroyed hundreds of Allied planes but cost Germany its remaining pilots. By late January, the Bulge was erased at a horrific cost. Aftermath and legacy. The Battle of the Bulge left 19,000 Americans dead, 47,500 wounded, and 23,000 missing. German losses topped 100,000. Entire villages lay in ruins. Civilians froze or starved. For the Allies, the victory shattered Germany's last reserves, paving the way to the Rhine and final victory. But survivors carried invisible scars. Medic Robert Breeden wrote, "We buried men in the snow, their dog tags frozen to their chests. Today, the Ardennes bears quiet memorials, a helmet on a fence post, a rusting tank in a field, whispering of the courage and sacrifice that turned Hitler's winter gamble into his final defeat. Closing reflection and call to action. The Battle of the Bulge teaches us about resilience in darkness, how ordinary men held the line against impossible odds. As we walk peaceful forests today, let's remember their frozen battles. If you want to dive deeper, explore our videos on Patton's leadership or the Siege of Bastogne. Subscribe and ring the bell to join us in uncovering history's untold stories. Until next time, never forget.